we are the big kahunas in the world and we are going to remain so, and Russia is not going to dislodge us from that position. Of course, what the Americans say is what the European countries say. So it is one thing, if once you've talked about America, you've already talked about the European countries who are members of NATO. We say that war sometimes defies logic. And what I see is, courtesy of history, is that men have this inclination to forget or to have selective amnesia. When the war was prosecuted in the 1940s, culminating in the use of the atomic device in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the world was shocked. And one of the reasons why, when the world met in San Francisco and created the United Nations, was to ensure that no war would ever take place. And all these treaties about non-proliferation of nuclear armaments were actually designed to ensure that nuclear weapons will never be used again. And some of the countries that were very much in the thick of war, in fact, until today, are not allowed to get into the space of nuclear armaments, such as Germany and Japan. But I see the world is beginning to forget. And one of the things that we must remember is that nuclear weapons are weapons of last resort. Because you will hear it being said that the reason why there is nuclear deterrence is because it assures mutual destruction of all its users. You use a nuclear device and the other side will respond. Is a zero-sum game where everybody will be decimated or everybody will suffer. But if one of the parties, if Russia were to feel sufficiently threatened, particularly with what one is seeing now, where the East European countries are saying that they are going to supply the Ukrainians with long-range ballistic missiles. And if these missiles were then to be used against Russia, I'm quite certain that they would not hesitate to use a device that would end the war. It would be a tragic thing. It would possibly not end the war. It would escalate the war and the entire world would suffer in some way. So everybody knows the dangers, but remember that when countries, through their leaders, are thrown into the space of desperation, they can act desperately and to the detriment of their people and the world. So never say never, simply because we said it is undesirable.